Today's math lesson is subtracting money, and it's the same as when we learned how to subtract with and without regrouping, except we want to use either a cent sign or the dollar sign with a decimal as we do our subtracting. So before we start some practice, I want to go over the poem that reminds us when we can regroup or not. So the first one is more on top, no need to stop. That means the top number is larger than the smaller number and we can go ahead and subtract. Like if we have 5, can we take away 2? Yes, there's more on top. The next one goes, more on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. So what this means, if it's 14 minus 8, there's a 4 in the ones place value. Can we subtract 8? If you only have 4, can you take away 8? No. So there's more on the floor or more on the bottom part of the problem. So you go next door and you get 10 more, which means we regroup a stick of 10 over to the ones place value. And the last part of the poem goes, numbers the same, zeros the game. And that's like if you have 5, take away 5. So 5 minus 5 is 0. Numbers the same, zeros the game. All right, so we're going to do that upside down T-chart and put a box up in the tens place value. Okay, get your piece of paper ready. It should look like this. Upside down T-chart. The way I've taught my students, in case there's others watching, is I don't use another box over here in the ones place value. There is a shortcut for that that's much easier for the students to remember the regrouping. So we only want a box here, just like when we added, we're doing subtraction. Now, there's one more thing that we could go ahead and do since this is money. And I'm going to go ahead and put the cent sign down here so I can remember that we're using money. Wrote in my cent sign, and then I went ahead and wrote our first problem for practice. So we have 75 cents minus 58 cents. Boys and girls, what number do we start with? Do you remember I gave out a lot of treats practicing because whether we're adding or subtracting, we always start the problem in the same position. So what number is it? 5. This 5 right here. If you said 5 before I told you, reach around and give yourself a pat on the back for being a smart thinker and remembering what I taught you when we were in school together. Okay, so we're going to start with this 5. Think of it like this. 5 minus 8. If you have 5, can you put down 8 fingers? No. So this means more on the floor. Go next door and get 10 more. What number are we going to take from? We're going to take a stick of 10 away from which number? You were right if you said the 7, because the number isn't plain old 5. The number is 75. So we can take away a stick of 10 from the 7. So cross out the 7, and when you take away one stick of 10 from these 7 sticks of 10, how many sticks of 10 do you have left? 7 sticks, take away 1 stick, leaves you with 6. Write a 6 in the box. Okay, that's the first part of regrouping, is getting that stick of 10 and taking it from here. The next part of regrouping is moving that stick of 10 over to the one side. And what we do is we're just going to draw the stick of 10 right in front of the 5. Let's do that now. Now I just draw a little line showing that we're adding the stick of 10 to the one side to make the number 15. Now I will go ahead and show you what it looks like up in the box, but I don't want my students to use that. I want them to do this method. All right, let me just show you the other way that you might see on some papers. Okay, this is what you might see some children do. You cross out the 5 because it's no longer 5. The stick of 10 that we got from the 7 when we moved it over, that 10 plus 5 equals 15, and put 15 in the box. Um, I think that's a little bit of extra steps and extra writing when we can just simply draw the stick of 10 right there. So I'm going to erase that and go back to the way I like to teach it. So make sure your paper's ready to go when I get back. I'm back and I fixed my paper to the way that I want it to be. Okay, so now that we've regrouped, we are ready to subtract the ones and get an answer and then subtract the tens. So quick as a snap, 15 minus 8, 7. Let's write that down. Now that you've solved the ones place value, now you go over to the tens. We don't want to solve the tens first because you might need to regroup. And we don't want to solve the tens after we regroup because we're working on the ones place value. So we solve it step by step. Solve the ones, then solve the tens. Don't jump around, go in order. So now we're ready to do the tens, and we always start way up at the top. Ready? 6 minus 5 equals 1. All right, let's write it in. 75 cents minus 58 cents equals 17 cents. All right, draw another T-chart and get ready for another problem. New problem, 25 cents minus 23 cents. I just left the cent sign on there. I didn't erase it, but make sure you have cent signs on your problem on your paper because we are solving for money. So we have to make sure we know with the cent sign that this is money. Okay, I wish I could give you a treat, but I can't. But what number do we start with? What number is it? 5 in the ones place value. The number 5 is on the top, and we always start up at the top in the ones. Ready? 5 take away 3. We can do that. If you have 5, can you put down 3 fingers? 1, 2, 3. There we go. 5 take away 3 equals 2. Okay, I have my 2 in my ones place value, and notice I told my box, I don't need you, put an X in it. If you don't use the box, cross it out. And then 2 take away 2. Numbers the same. That's right, zero's the game. Do you need to write 0 here? No. No, you don't. You can, but it's just 2 cents. Okay, for our next two problems, we're not going to use a T-chart. We're just going to write the money. Problem, no T-chart this time, but I don't think I left myself enough room down here at the bottom, but we'll make it work, okay? So, take a look at our problem. 50 cents minus 39 cents. What's the number we look at first to start solving this problem? 0. It's in the top in the ones place value. All right, put up 0 fingers, which is kind of just a fist. There's nothing there. Now subtract 9. You can't do that. So we have to go next door and get 10 more. If we were remembering the poem, it says, more on the floor. Go next door and get 10 more. More on the floor. So go over to the 5 and cross it out because that means there are 5 sticks of 10 and we're going to take away 1 stick of 10. So 5 sticks of 10, take away 1 leaves us with. Okay, let's mark that on our paper. That's what your regrouping should look like. Cross out the 5 because we're taking away a stick of 10. Mark the 4 up above it. Move the stick of 10 over to the ones and put it in front of the 0 so it looks like the number 10. Now do 10 minus 9. Easy peasy. 10 take away 9 is 1. Let's write that on your paper. Now let's do the tens place value. It's 4. Because that's up at the top, and we cross out the 5, so that's gone. 4 minus 3. Easy peasy. Mark it on your paper. Minus 3 equals 1. So 50 cents minus 39 cents equals 11. I made a mistake. Tell me what I did wrong. You were right if you said I did not put the cent sign in the answer. Cents. Make sure you always put that cent sign. Let's do one more, but let's use the dollar and the decimal. Write this problem down on your paper. So dollar sign, $1, decimal, $1.25. So your first number is $1.25. And the number that you're subtracting, you need the dollar sign, leave a space, and line up the decimals. Notice I'm still going, everything's lined up. The ones are lined up, the tens are lined up, line up that decimal. And now put 82. So it's $1.25 minus 82 cents. Okay, do we have our problem written down and set up? What number do we start with? You were right if you said the number 5, because 5 is on the top in the ones place value. So 5 take away 2 equals, that's right, 3. Let's write it down. Let's solve the next place value over. 2 minus 8. Put up 2 fingers. Can you take down 8? No, you can't. You don't have enough. So you need to go next door and get 10 more. Who's next door to the 2? That's right, the 1. So we're going to cross out the 1. You can put a 0 up there to remind you there's none left. And move that stick of 10 over here in front of the 2. The grouping should look like, cross out the 1, put a 0 up in the air, there's none left. Move your 1 in front of the 2, so it is the number 12. Now you can do 12 minus 8. Quick as a snap, what is 12 minus 8? 4. Let's write it on your paper. Next place value says 0 minus nothing would be 0. Am I done? Is this my answer? No. I need to bring the decimal down. Decimal, decimal. I need a decimal here, and I need to bring the dollar sign down. So this is the right number, but it's not the right answer because we're doing money. So let's add a decimal in line with all the decimals and the dollar sign over here. Does your paper look like mine? Okay, now our answer is correct with our dollar sign decimal 43 cents. Okay, boys and girls, you have practice pages to do today and tomorrow. Tomorrow is your online quiz. It's already scheduled. So remember, subtracting money is the same as subtraction that you already learned how to do in school. The only difference is you must remember to write either a cent sign or the dollar and the decimal to show that you're subtracting money. That's the only difference. Okay, good luck on your practice pages, and I'll be checking online to see how you do on your quiz. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.